Hi guys, I'm Amos Dsouza and welcome back to the channel. This is part 3 of the ongoing series wherein I make a game in Godot and help you make your first game that is very crucial in your game development. Okay? Also a side note, thanks for those who subscribed. We just hit 100 subscribers, so thanks a lot those who stuck around and thought this channel would lead somewhere. So thank you once again. So let's just jump right into this video. Okay, so in the last part we have learned how to make the collision. So in this video what we are going to do is we are going to try and make the player jump on a key press, and that will handle by using the input map which I showed y'all in the first part. Okay, so let's just use what we learned in the previous part and just make a ground for the player to stand. So if you remember, in the previous part we learned about collisions and we added the collisions to the player node right here, right? And we know that now the player has collisions, okay, but the player right now has nowhere to stand on. That is, it does not have a ground, right? So we need a ground for the player to stand. So what we are going to do is we are going to click main, select main in the scene panel and click add. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a node from the control section. So if you go and search for color rect, you will find, if you go down, you will see color rect right here. And if you see the description, it just says colored rectangle. So if you don't have anything on hand, like a sprite on hand, you can use a color rect and then use it to make your ground and stuff. So I'm going to place this color rect down here somewhere, and I'm going to use the handles to expand. Okay, and now you can see I have made the ground where the player can stand. Okay, so I'm going to just align this and I'm going to change this color to a lighter gray so that we have a contrast between the background and the foreground. Okay, and if you remember from the previous episode, you might have known about the different types of physics objects which we can use. So to make the ground, the best object is the static body. So what we're going to do is we're going to click main again and click add, and we're going to use static body. So as you can see, physics body, static body, and I'm going to click create. Now you're going to get the same error saying that no shape has been defined, so it can't collide or interact with other objects. Okay, so what we're going to do is first we need the sprite which we use in the player, right? But here instead of the sprite we are going to use this color rect. Okay, and we're going to drag it under static body. Okay, now we're going to add the collision shape, and now it has the same error how we had got for the player when we did it. So what we're going to do is click collision shape and then come up in the inspector and select shape as rectangle shape. Now if you see it forms up here, what you can do is press W on a keyboard and it will go into move tools and then drag it down here, and now switch back to select mode by using the Q key on your keyboard, and now you can drag your collision shape like so. So I'm going to just roughly get this right, and the height does not matter since you just need it. It's a static body and you can just have it this way. Okay, I'm going to put this behind color rect so our art is on top, and if you see the blue line pops up, so you can select the collision shape and then press W and then click and drag down till when it stops hiding. Okay, like so. Be sure to click the collision shape, and now your ground is done with the collisions applied to it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to rename the static body. Double click to rename, and we're going to name it as ground. Okay, now don't move it, and lock the children, so the children is not selectable. You can go up here and go back to select mode by clicking Q, and now you have your ground node, right? Okay, now we can place the player right here. Okay, so and we are going to get into coding in Godot. Now to start to add a script to an object, what you do is you select the object, and then you go up here and you can see this icon called attach a new or existing script to the selected node. Okay, and then click that icon, and then you'll pop up with this attach node script language GD script, because GD script is the script which Godot has, and it is very good. And we're going to leave everything as it is and click create. Okay, now you will be greeted with this tab, which is a scripting tab, and you can click this arrow down here. Okay, or you can click Control and backslash to toggle on and off that sidebar, which mostly you won't be using unless you're reading the documentation. Okay, and this is your script. Now GD script is based on Python, so if you know Python, then this should be easier. Okay, so I'm going to delete this commented area or commented lines like so, and I'm going to delete this function process also. Okay, and we are left with ready. Function ready is called whenever this node is initiated. So anytime you want to call something, you can do it in function ready. So suppose you want to set the node's position to something, you can do it here in function ready. Okay, now we won't be needing function ready as far as I know, so we're going to delete that. Okay, and we're going to start scripting the player jump script. So let's get into it. So first we're going to declare some variables. So we're going to do var direction dir is equal to a vector2, which is an empty vector. Now what is a vector2? A vector2 is a point in 2D space, and you can write a vector2. A vector2 can be written as something like this. So this is 2 in the x and this is 2 in the y. Okay, and that is all we need, I think. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to use a function which is a Godot function called physics process. With the name itself, you should come to know that it handles physics, which we need in this game. Okay, so you remember, right? We use kinematic body 2D to make the player. So whenever you add a script to a node, if you go to your inspector, you see the topmost label which says kinematic body 2D. So the script attached to the node should always extend the same property. Like you can see in the top first line of the script right here, extends kinematic body 2D. Okay, now if you hold click control and click the kinematic body 2D, okay, you will be greeted to this page. Now this page has all the scripting info for you with some examples. So if anytime you get lost, or if you want to see what functions or what variables you can use, predefined variables or booleans, you can come and search it in this search help right here, and you will be greeted with this page. And currently it says class kinematic body 2D, and these are all the functions you can use when you are typing this code. Also you see it says inherits from physics body 2D collision shape, So if you go to physics body 2D, you can even use these functions because it inherits these functions by default, and physics body 2D indirectly inherits from collision object 2D. So you can even use this, and the list goes on and on. So we're going to go back to the script. So you come to your player and you can see this paper icon, and then you're going to click that to open your script again. Okay, and then we're going to go back to kinematic body 2D. I'm just going to click this. Okay, and you can read the description, it will help you, and you can scroll down. So we need something that moves the player, right? So we're going to go under methods and we're going to search for something that moves the kinematic body. So if we go down here, get on floor, no, we don't want gets, we don't want is on floor because they are just booleans, right? But we see here something collision, kinematic collision 2D. Oh, sorry. So to go back here, we can just press Control backspace, and then this tab opens up, and then you can select kinematic body 2D again. So you can see kinematic collision 2D has a function which says move and collide. So if we click this function, it takes us here. Let me just close that. And if I scroll a bit upwards, where is it? Move and slide. Here it is, move and slide. Okay, first we clicked on move and collide, right? So it says moves a body along a vector, reflection vector. The body will stop if it collides, returns kinematic collision 2D. So if you click here, it will go to kinematic collision 2D, which contains information about the collision. Okay. So we want it to move in a direction, but this isn't the correct thing. If we scroll a bit further, we see move and slide. Now if you read about this, moves the body along a vector. If the body collides with another, it will slide along the other rather than stop immediately. If another body is a kinematic body or rigid body, it will also be affected by the motion. So this is what we are going to use to make the player jump up and down. Okay, so we're going to go back here and we're going to type move and slide, not collide, slide. And it says it needs a linear velocity, and this linear velocity will be the direction which we are mentioning on top. Okay, and hit enter. And we need something else also. You see it is prompting us to say an up direction. Okay, a vector 2 for an up direction. Now if I go to this illustration area, okay, what is an up direction? Okay, so right now we are making a 2D game. Okay, so everything is in 2 dimensions, right? So this is the X, this is the Y, and suppose we have a block right here which is our ground. Okay, the ground's up direction is this one right here. This portion is the up side of the ground. So if you see, the coordinates of this up face is 0, 1. Assuming that it is at 0, like here, we are assuming x to be 0, and the other thing is 1. Okay, so in Godot, okay, let me just write it here. In Godot, the y is flipped. So this is the x and this is the y. Y is downwards and x is up. X is the same, and the y which goes on top is negative y. So if you see, this is our play area. Why didn't it go to blue? Okay, so this is our blue play area or the camera. Okay, and if we place a block right here, then the up direction right here will be this face right here, right? And so the coordinates for the up direction in Godot is 0, -1. Since we are assuming it to be 0, the x face is 0 like right here, and the y direction is upwards, so which is -1. Okay, so we're going to go back to Godot and then make a new vector to right here and add the up direction as 0, -1, and we're going to close the function right there. So as you can see, we have defined a vector and then we are using the vector over here. Okay, now this vector is right now 0, 0, which is a null vector, and this function won't do anything, right? So we need the player to fall. So physics process is called every frame of the game. So this is where we add some value to direction so that the player is falling. So we're going to go ahead and type direction, and we need the value of y to change because we want the player to fall downwards. So we're going to say direction dot y is plus equals, let's say 20. Okay, so every frame the player's position will be added by 20, and if you recall, plus 20 in the y direction is downwards in Godot. So if we click play right now, as you can see, the player will start falling. Okay, but it does not jump back up, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to code that in. Okay, so if you have watched the first episode, the first part of this series, you will find that if you go to project settings and if you go to input map, here is a lot of information about different keys like UI accept, UI select, cancel, UI focus, and all that. So I'm going to minimize all of these so that it is easier for you. Okay, and I'm going to add an action right here on top and say jump, and I'm going to click add. Okay, and it forms a new action down here. Okay, so if we go we go to the jump panel. Okay, if you click it, you can rename it, and we're going to keep in mind that this everything is in lowercase, so that because we're going to use this in the script which we are writing. And you can see a plus icon right here, add event, and then we're going to click add event, and we're going to select key, and then it says press a key, so we're going to press the space key and we're going to say okay. Okay, and we're going to close this input map. So we are back into this coding area, and we're going to say if, this is how we write if statements in Godot. If input dot is action just pressed, and you can see all those actions which we just saw in the actions panel, including jump. Okay, so we're going to click enter jump, and we'll close the bracket and click colon, enter colon, and then click enter, and it automatically indents for you. Okay, if this colon wasn't there and if you tried entering, it won't indent because it is a wrong if statement. So if you have the colon, it will automatically indent it for you. Then we are going to say direction. So if we press jump, we want the player to go upwards. That is, we are going to add some negative value to the y direction. So you're going to click direction dot y is equal to minus, let's say, 1000. Okay, and this can vary as you wish. So if you click play, so the player falls, and if you click space, it goes up and it goes out of the screen. So this is where we try the numbers out and we'll change the gravity to 25. What we can do is we can make a variable. We'll make a constant, which is gravity. Keep in mind, whenever you're declaring constants, make them full capitals because constants don't change. Okay, and then we're going to say add by gravity. Okay, and now if we play, it feels much nicer, but we still want less jump height. So what we're going to do is minus, and we're going to call it jump height. And I'm going to declare a constant, which say jump height is equal to, let's say, 700. Okay. Now I have the habit of keeping constants above variables. You don't have to do it, but I just like to do it. Okay. And let's test it out. And okay, this is fine. So now if you notice that in midair, if I click space again, the player can do a double jump, triple jump, and the player can just keep jumping in midair, right? Which we don't want to happen. So what we're going to do is go back to the code, and where we say if action pressed is jump, then it will add direction. So we're going to add another statement here. Okay, so if we go back to kinematic body, and if we scroll down, let me just close this output panel, and it has this value which says is on flow. If I can speak properly, okay. So it has this bool variable wherein it says is on flow right here, and it says if we click on it, it goes down. It says it returns true if the body is on flow. Okay, only updates when calling move and slide. Now you know why we were using move and slide. So we gave it the up vector. I'm going to go back to the script right here by clicking this arrow paper icon near player, and we use move and slide. That's why we get the boolean wherein we can just type if is on flow. There you go. Then only the player can jump. Okay, and now if we try and play a game, then the player can keep spamming the space bar, if you can hear me, and the player can only jump once he is on flow. So this will be it, guys, for this video, because I don't want you to be very I don't want to bombard you with a lot of code, but this is as simple code as possible. And as you can see, the game is coming to life really quickly. Now we're going to fix this right now. So what you have to do is go to project settings, and go to general and search for window. Okay, under display you can see window, and then scroll down here and until you can see stretch. Okay, so the stretch mode is set to disable. We're going to do it 2D, and we're going to select aspect, and then instead of ignore, we're going to do it keep, and then we close the project settings. Now when you scale your game to full screen, it will keep the ratio properly and it won't mess up your code. So this will be it, guys. So I hope you learned something in this video. I highly recommend learning the Godot, the Python language. You can find any videos on YouTube. There are a lot of videos which teach you the Python language. And with that said, I will catch you all, guys, in the next video. If you like this video, click the like button and also subscribe for more of these tutorials. We are almost halfway there, and there's a lot of things to be done with the game, or by a lot of things, that is by adding the enemy. So subscribe, it helps, it keeps me motivated too, and you in turn get a lot of informative material. So till then guys, stay safe, have fun coding yourself, and I will catch you all guys in the next video. Bye bye.